All right, so next up, we're going to add the shapes to the map. So I've made my little web server running, and we have a thing working at localhost. And going into the next file in the series here, you can see I've got rid of the CSV. I just have our 2 required files. I load things up, and I make the US states here. And we're going to add that. Basically, yeah, we're just going to add that right now, as well as a little pop-up that's going to tell us what state that we're in. Okay, so yeah, we make the map. We create the pop-up, and then inside our little load thing, we have to wait for it to load with MapLibra because that's how the shapes get added. We do our little fetch call with some code there, and we console log the response. Okay, then the response, when we look at it, is literally a GeoJSON. So we don't really have to worry about reformatting it. So we can just go map.add source. We call it states because that's what it is. Type GeoJSON data response. Literally just taking the file that was here and putting it as the response so that we're adding this source. Now we're going to add line and a polygon, and this is for styling. So when I load this file, you can see I made like a green look, and I also wanted to have these lines in between. Let's say I get rid of the lines just for the sake of demonstrating this, and I just load this. You can't really tell that they're actually different shapes, right? So we want to add lines as well. So this is pretty cool. We can use the same source to load 2 different layers. We don't have to like add them twice or anything, add this source twice. One of them we just tell to do as a fill type, and the other we just tell to do as a line type. So we looked at both of those, right? And I give them different IDs. One I call state fill layer, state line layer, but they both point to the same source, which is this source we created, states. Then I give the fill some opacity just because I felt like, you know, I wanted to have that. It doesn't really matter. Made it a certain color, which isn't the most beautiful color. Then I gave the line some opacity and made them a color. Okay, that, you know, pretty straightforward in terms of stuff we've done. Now we have them all. So let's, you know, throw some interactivity in there so we can see a bit about the states, or use some of what we learned about not only bounds, but about the clicking and pop-ups to kind of have a little bit of interactivity. So first of all, yeah, I do the bounds thing, right, which we talked about. So it like zooms in to the right extent. Obviously, this isn't always what you want to do when you're showing the US. Alaska is super, super dominant in this look, and sometimes you just want to do it centered like this. So this might be a case where you are centering it with a center and zoom, or you're having a different kind of bounds or whatever. It's up to you. But in this case, I just wanted to use that anyway. We get Alaska, we get Hawaii, and we get the main part of the US there. Okay, cool. That's all loaded, fitting bounds. And then we have our click thing, and we're going to do this on the fill layer because the line layer is very small. It'll just be the lines around it. So on the fill layer, we do this query rendered features thing that we talked about. I'm checking to do it just on that one layer. I check for the clicked features, and then I set the pop-up with getting the property that's called name. And if we come to our file here, we see that each of the properties, we can also look here, it might be a little easier. If we open up this feature collection and see each feature, they each have a name and a density. Name and density. They all have name and density. So we can access the, you know, .properties.name to show the pop-up. So again, if you're not sure about this, if you forget a bit, just go back a few episodes. We went over this in adding pop-ups as well as when we dealt with adding polygons and stuff like that. So okay, so that's our basic thing here. So let's reload now with that showing. And as we click, we say you clicked Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Wyoming. Okay, it's working. So on different clicks, we are showing different state names. So that's dynamic data so far. Great. Now in the next one, we'll start connecting the data with the McDonald's stuff and moving on there. See you in the next one.